Hey guys, JT here, and today we're exploring the pendog Creative Archive slasher update. Apologies for that potential unintentional ASMR, but I was taking a sip of water. So, this here's the final page before we get to the slashers hidden page, and I'll tell you how to find that, but first, let's do some reading. Kiddo's first visit to Mazyland. Oh, and yeah, Pendog team, I'm begging you, please make an amazing mutt thing real. Amazing mutt plushie real. I know the project's not too popular, but still, I put some money down for Maisie the Mutt plush. Mama Monica, I can't believe parents are still allowing their children to be exposed to this crap. Absolutely absurd. You are so rude. What do you have against the sweetest pup in America? Maisie is a bad influence on children. The cartoon teaches children to disrespect authority, break rules, and participate in satanic behavior. When my daughter was younger, she saw a Maisie cartoon where the dog buried her friend alive, and it scared my daughter so bad she had nightmares for a week. Those cartoons are not appropriate for children, neither is any horror movie. Maisie's satanic LOL. This is ridiculous. Maisie's a gentle and loving puppy who teaches children about friendship and kindness. Yeah, I hate to break it to Wonderland 9999, but that gentle and loving puppy also killed an artist named Dylan, although from the Harmonias, although to be fair, it may or may not have been deserved. She also may have done something to some people on Halloween. All right. How much should a babysitter cost? Hey moms, I need a little advice. How much should I be paying a babysitter for a few hours? When I look in my area, the average hourly rate seems way too high to be fair. When I was a kid, you used to just give the neighborhood teen $20 for the night. Be careful about who you let look after your children. Even people you think you can trust can turn out to be trying to corrupt your children when your back is turned. I had kids to raise them. I can't imagine leaving them behind for hours a day. My children come with me whenever I go because I actually care about being with them. I chose motherhood to be a mother. Someone who isn't a parent will never truly understand how to care for a child properly or the responsibilities that comes with it. The only people I trust to look after my sons is their grandparents. Not sure if I'm going in order, but a little boy asked his mother if he could wear his sister's princess dress to a princess themed birthday party. His mother brought him his own dress tiara and wand. Thoughts on this? I have no problem with LGBT people living their own lives, but I don't think children need to be around that kind of community. Kids can make their own decisions when they turn 18 and move out of their parents' house. They shouldn't have it pushed on them when they're still young. Everyone these days is so quick to make everything gay or transgender. Whatever happened to letting kids be kids? My daughter has always been such a tomboy. She would even cry when she was little, and we would dress her up in pretty dresses. This mother should have told her son to dress up as a handsome knight instead. Not everything has to be transgender. Mom is probably only doing it for attention online. Many are forcing their babies to the transgenders so they could get money from woke crowd. That poor boy. How cute. That's what happens to little boys with sisters, lol. I'm sure he'll be embarrassed when they show these pictures to his future girlfriend someday. Well, at least Wonderland 9999 is being fairly nice. I mean, I don't know, guys. This is Mama Monica and Co. are sounding a little like the anti woke crowd. And I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. I won't say names of those content creators. Sorry for all the pauses. Trying, it's hot, and I'm trying to make sure my setup is working as it should. Fellow mothers beware, the slasher. Uh-oh. Oh. I was shocked today to discover my daughter had been playing satanic games with her friends. I was shocked today when I was shocked today to discover that my daughter had been playing satanic games with her friends. I walked in on the girls during the sleepover only to find my daughter reading from a book full of horrible monsters encouraging kids to roleplay and participate in violent acts in the game. I don't know where she got this book from, but it's absolutely not appropriate for children to be exposed to. I had to send all my daughter's friends home. I have to I have of course confiscated the book, but I don't know what on earth I'm supposed to do with it now. I don't want this in my home or infesting my family with violence and degeneracy. Either Jane came up with Slishy Slasher. Dang it, I did it. Ah. Slasher, I'm sorry. Either Jane came up with the slasher a long time ago or this manifested in the book. Because I don't know. That's interesting that it's there. World Fair Tour plus rant. Oh, there's Telly again. Not looking forward to your chapter, bud, because something tells me it's going to be both horrific and depressing. This week, my daughter and I made the trek over to New York to see the World Fair Memorial Park. I remember having to go on this trip during school when I was a child, and it is just as gray and bleak as I remember. You'd think a park would be pleasant to visit, but it's just a few scattered museum buildings, the Unisphere, and ugly solid concrete. The cell service here is terrible too. I feel like a very I feel like a very sad excuse for a memorial considering how tragic the World Fair incident was and how many people lost their lives. My uncle was a soldier during that time and told us stories about the terrible things he saw. I think requiring children to visit the park and museum is too depressing. They should not have to be exposed to this history. Fellow mothers who homeschool their kiddos, how do you feel about the mandated educational trips like this? As a teacher of my child, I feel I should be allowed to choose what I teach and not be required to, at certain points in my child's education, travel out of state to various national monuments and whatnot. Though the parents of children in traditional schools still get to choose whether or not to sign the permission slip for trips like this, it's ridiculous. But ridiculous that it's ridiculous that it's nationally mandated even for independent homeschool programs, especially since I have to pay for the travel and lodging expenses for both myself and daughter. If they're tr- if they're going to force us to drag our these hard kids to these horrible places, they could at least compensate us. I'll have fun in the big city. I hope your kiddo enjoyed the trip. Even if the park wasn't exciting, New York is an amazing place to visit. This is so disrespectful to the people who lost their lives in the explosion and also the wars. Your uncle was a soldier. You should show some respect. People gave their lives to this country, and you were complaining online about it about it not being exciting enough for you. Okay. As a kid, I remember being so bored during that trip. Listen to this tour guide talk about electrical inventions or whatever the company was called. Almost put me to sleep. You are a grown woman. You should know the proper name of the company and not be so flippant about the country's important historical events that cost thousands of lives. Okay, so maybe I'm sorry. The creator of pendog was right about Telly having bigger things to worry about, because whatever happened sounds pretty serious. How much is too much? Where are you mama bears' thoughts on screen times for your tweeds? I don't let my daughter use the internet unsupervised. 1 hour of computer time a day. No social media. I also see no reason why she should have a cell phone at her age. She has tried to argue with me about the multiple times saying all her friends have phones and social media accounts. The truth is, I did used to let her use social media before, but after seeing what kind of things she was being exposed to, I have decided that it's best for her to stay away from all that garbage. I don't want my poor kiddo being indoctrinated to any of that woke ideology or being preyed on by strangers online. I'm worried that she's going to go behind my back or use her friends to access the internet. I just want to keep my precious little girl safe. Children these days use social media to connect with friends and peers. My son has an Instagram group chat with his classmates, and they help each other with homework and share memes. As long as you teach your daughter about proper internet safety, private accounts, don't give out personal information, parental controls on search engines, she will be okay. You should have more faith in her. She's becoming a teenager and needs room to explore the world for herself, even if it's scary to see your baby bird spread her wings. You got this, Mama. Yes, but when I do let her use social media on her own, she was exposed to posts telling her to inject herself with hormones and mutilate her body. I know what's best. And then this is the response to this. Yikes, thanks for giving us a heads up, Mama. That's definitely not something kids should be playing with. At least your kiddo wasn't riding her brains playing video games about shooting zombies all day. An update. She says she got the rule book from her old babysitter we had other issues with. So the fact she did not tell me about this book and was instead hiding it from me is heartbreaking. Why are you letting the babysitter give your child these materials? We fired this sitter several years ago when we saw his social media post about my daughter. What daughter was hiding the book from me since then. She said I would understand that it was a gift, but I do not want this ideology affecting my child. It's just a game. Relax. Let your daughter have fun with her friends. It's better to be playing game in your house than be out on the streets or going to parties and doing drugs. It's not just a game. It's a gateway into thinking this kind of behavior is acceptable. It's a slippery slope. If you allow your children to play violent games, what's to stop them from thinking it's okay to go out and perform those actions in real life? Oh, Mama Monica, you're really showing your ignorance and stuff. Go Mama Monica. And I believe this is the last thing. Mrs. Pearl's celebration of life. The memorial for Mrs. Pearl will be held this Friday at 8 p.m. Those wishing to attend should RSVP to the event beforehand. Please feel free to leave your fond memories of her in the comments. I know she was a friend to many of the ladies here, myself included. I still can't believe she's gone. She was such a good woman. Thank you for arranging this memorial. It was such a shock. I never imagined something like this would happen to someone in our little neighborhood. The house besides mine feels so empty now. She's in a better place. And I'm just gonna skip that. Basically, sorry. This is about Halloween movies. Daughter saw it. She's 13 years old. I don't need strangers telling me how to parent my child. Calling too soon. Whatever happened to her son? Shouldn't he be the one to make arrangements? God only knows what happened to that boy. It's such a shame. His mother tried So hard to raise him right. Last I heard, he moved out without telling her where he was going. Have not seen him since. You think he would at least come back to the for the funeral. Some children are so ungrateful. I remember when our kids were in school together. She invited me to join the PTA when my family was still new in this to the area and thought that I make made many good friends. She will be missed. Mrs. Pearl was a strong and very respectful self-made woman. From her divorce to raising her autistic child as a single mother, she remains true to her beliefs and endured those hardships with the uttermost grace. Her passing was a tragedy. I can only hope she could find peace among the angels. I'm curious to know what Jane's reaction to her mom dying would be because I'm sure she's got to have some mixed emotions about it. Like, on one hand, maybe some relief. On the other hand, sad that her mom could be a good mom. Anyway, let me see if I could do this right because we do have something hidden under all of this. I just need to find it. And I hope I didn't delete it. You gotta be here somewhere. Today, members of the pendog team watching, I'm so sorry. I am bad at doing this. Yeah, I think I deleted it because there should be someone here. So let's try again. Oh, just saw him pop up, but here, let me try this where I inspect the actual thing. There we go. There we go. For years, Anthony has cowered beneath the crooked words of an abstract mother, a woman pronounced to be the epitome of community who borrowed her child off from it with painted private fences and hidden accounts which watched his activity through hateful, judgmental eyes. With a mother like that, how could a child even hope to understand who they are, or or how could they even hope to hope at all? He likes to think, still likes to think, that somewhere beneath the gray little mind storm that was his was his mother was someone who loved him, someone who was proud of him and supported who he was. Yet the belief could form him against only so many late nights on his knees listening to her yelling lectures before it turned to sand and blew away. Who was outside his mother? If voice aloud, this thought would have prompted worried questions from those around him. It was true, though. He thought it was at least who was he without his mother, there shaping and reshaping his identity as she saw fit. What clothes he wore, what was a godly, what was pure, what he was to think and how he was to talk to her. It was all very confusing. Rules within rules built to distract and confine Anthony to a mold. There was a time he'd known who he was, though. Not so long ago, within the care of the babysitter his mother forbid him to talk about, Jane. She said her name was Jane. His mom said it was James. To Anthony, everything his mother said must be true. It was fact, written into the world. Yet his mother had been incorrect about the identity of his babysitter. If so, maybe she did not know the full identity of Anthony either. Phil had been there before Jane. She never proved it or drew it from him, not even talked to him about the kind of people they were, just their presence, the oddest exchange of her true name. It had put into place countless memories he had of feeling not quite right as the person his mother wanted the boy to be. For a child so isolated, so alone in every way a child in this world can be alone, it felt like a lifeline had been extended through the familiarity of another otherness. His mother had snipped that thread, however, with the publicity simpering gracefulness the world knew her as, violent and brutally in private, with the savage cruelty he knew her as. For years, Anthony would exist mournful, clinging to the name Anthony like a lifeboat that could carry him out to storm, only to meet a storm so vast no lifeboat could have hoped to raise above it a camp. His mother had called it a camp, shown him brochures filled with pictures of children whose faces looked stained in their joy that failed to conceal the horror beneath. She reminded him every night that this place, full of cruel faced, self righteous adults that terrified the sorry adolescents, was where he would be that summer. In one of the pamphlets had been a boy who looked almost like him, not in appearance but in expression. The hopelessness, empty eyed mask that greeted Anthony in the mirror each morning. Every night, Anthony would lay awake with the campers' faces imprinted in his troubled thoughts. Something tells me this camp is run by the COA. It felt so hopeless. Who was he outside his mother's intentions? What could he do about this? Anthony had made several attempts at forming some sort of plan to spare himself the fate of his mom intended for him him, yet every time he'd arrive at the same conclusion. I'm just a kid. I can't fix this alone. One night, at the height of the storm, days before his mother was set to abandon him to that place, another storm like fury had introduced itself upon their home. From the hiding place Anthony had made for himself beneath the bed, the figure could hardly be made out clearly. The hint of strangled blue skin, a leering red smile, coated arms raised his mother into the air to cut her open and tear something out. Not organs, not bloods, not bones. Something squirming and near intangible. His mother had been very different since that night. He'd asked not to go to the camp, and she had merely said okay, and the issue had ended there. Yet the mother who was left behind was not a more loving mother. A more uncaring individual would be better described of her behavior, not caring when Anthony left the house, when he ate, what he wore, what he did. Not a word he spoken of being interest to her hollow, animated husk. It was a complete lack of anything towards Anthony that brought from his stomach a deep desire to scream and cry. He had not liked the mother that was before. No, he had not even loved her. But she had been a person he knew on some level. The person shambling around his home was less than that. A horrible changed person that, he figured, would not care if he dropped dead right in front of her. Every day he waited for the nightmare to end. Until. And we're gonna stop it here, guys, but when we come back, you're gonna not want to miss it. Because we're meeting not the slasher, but the doctor.